Hey guys, I'm Frenzy. I just had some time before my stream to kind of chat about something that I feel very strongly about. And again, this is just an opinion. I literally just hit record, so no outline or anything. But if you guys agree or disagree with me, just let me know in the comments, and I'll gladly talk about it with you guys. But I do want to talk about why Wrath of the Lich King is dying, and I think it's pretty much common knowledge for everybody nowadays that to see that it's quickly falling apart, and the recovery for it is not looking so good. And I start with my pugs because I host a lot of pugs, and a lot of people come into my pugs saying my guild can't fill this, my guild leader can't find healers, things of that nature. And it's very clear that people are clearing the content for Ulduar, but they're not clearing the roster boss, and that's quickly becoming the problem here right now, is that people are just not playing the game, and people are starting to get tired of just running Ulduar, and people are starting to have to play alts that they never really wanted to play, but they're doing it for the goodness of the guild. Like, someone has to play their Ret Paladin, or someone has to play their Warlock when they're mainly just a healer. And people are getting tired of that. There's just not enough people to go around. So again, the roster boss, and just the population is quickly dying here. We got, I do respect the people that parse and speedrun and things like that, but you got to know that the main chunk of the WoW population are dad gamers, are people that just only have a couple nights a week that want to log on after work and raid. And it's quickly, it's a problem when those type of people, the people that just get onto raid or whatever, aren't doing that anymore. That's a huge issue for the game, because that makes up the majority of the population. And the WoW, we're going to talk about this a little bit later when I get into Ulduar more, but I mean, let's face it, in today's world, people are like, the gaming culture, the gaming community are like zombies, right? They eat a person, or they eat some content, they already forgot about that content, they're looking to eat the next person, right? So right now, Wrath doesn't really have anything to offer people outside of hard modes and Ulduar. There's really not much going on, and you can tell because the population is dropping immediately. And this is where I kind of wanted to dive in to Ulduar, is that Ulduar technically is harder content than Nax, but anybody could have done Nax, right? And the content is harder, yeah, but it just took more coordination from your guildmates. And once people got it down, after 2, 3, 4 wipes, like it's cleared content. I mean, pretty much the majority of Magicrit guilds right now are done with normal modes, and they're just progressing the hard modes, if not all of them. And people are bored of that. There's nothing else to do. It's not like a phase 1 where you can do a world tour. You got Malagos and Sarth and things like that. But overall, Ulduar is just a very stale raid. And the thing about it is that people are turned off because I'm not a timeline expert, but there are about 3 to 4 more months of Ulduar. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure there's that much time left of Ulduar, and they could go about like speeding up the phase time, or just making it go kind of off of demand, like there's not much going on, like we need to do something. But even if they do that, it doesn't change the fact that they're in a tough spot, because phase 3 really isn't that much better. You have the tournament, and then you also have Onyxia, which is once again another recycled classic raid that's only about a 20-minute raid if you do it right. So you have those, but it's kind of like phase 1, how I just brought up the world tour, right? So now you have a couple raids you can do in phase 3. You can stack them up with Ulduar, but the difference is Nax came out with those raids, right? So they were kind of all fresh. Even though you did it in classic, it's still people like refreshed people, right? Just to be able to do 3 raids at once. But now you add in Ulduar for like that you've already been doing for 4 months, and then you stack on 2 like 30-minute raids on top of it, and that's your phase 3. How is that going to keep people playing if they're already stale of the main raid that's going on right now? That's going to be the main raid again in another phase, like and it's phase 3 is just as big of a snooze fest as phase 2. Essentially, it's not good for the game right now, and there's really not much they can do about it, because there's just nothing available for the game for people to play. And I think about it this way too, is like there was always other things in the other expansions that people could do other than focus on Ulduar, right? So classic, like you had PvP ranking. That was something that people took very serious, because the rank 10, the rank 12 gear was very useful sometimes in PvP settings. And TBC, they had they had arenas introduced. You had to get all the rep on your ults for heroics and things like that. There was always something to do. Right now in Wrath, there is literally nothing to do except get heroic badges for your ults and do stuff with your badges and run heroics and heroic pluses. Like, there's really, don't even get me started on heroic pluses, but there's just nothing to do right now. And now here you come, you're going to add Diablo 4 into the mix. Well, here, kind of my next point is, you know, there's whispers of Season of Mastery 2, and Classic Era is booming right now. And the hardcore population hasn't really left. In fact, it's getting bigger. They have like circuits now and tournament prize pools and stuff like that for heroic World of Warcraft. And here's WoW Classic kind of just, you know, sitting here. And then you got retail, which I'm not going to speak for retail because I've never really played it, but you know, it does seem very popular for people, and it gives people something to do. So, you know, for Wrath of the Lich King, with all that added in, is like, where are they going to go now? I mean, they have phase 3, which we've already have discovered is a total snooze fest. You stack Ulduar on top of that. People are going to come back for ICC and Ruby, of course. But for how long? And don't forget, hold on here, don't forget that phase 3, they add where you can only do either heroic 10 or heroic 25. You have to choose. So now that's just limiting their content even more. So, you know, as a classic boomer myself, I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, even I'm running out of things to do. And I've been playing this game for damn 16 years, you know, so I'm really kind of just, I don't really know what to do. And this really might be the first expansion, or the first time that like a WoW Classic or just a World of Warcraft based, you know, game, it might actually die. Because, you know, we brought it up, Season of Mastery 2, Diablo 4. People are going to come back to Wrath, but for how long? You know, and I just kind of wanted to get that off the top of my head. And I appreciate you guys watching. And, you know, if you agree or disagree, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the comments. Thank you so much.